Ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of people have trouble listening to what it is that we talk about with these stories, but I want to remind you, there is nothing worse than what we listen to, than what these children actually have to go through, what they live through and what they die through. So I think we could do them a great service to hear their stories, spread their stories, and try to do as best as we can to make sure that these stories don't repeat themselves, okay? But a San Francisco couple have been charged with murder for allegedly beating their infant son to death. Their infant son. And I want y'all to look at these demons on my screen. I'm going to tell y'all, I know I can be a little bit controversial sometimes, but let me say this. I just don't think that some people should be allowed to have kids. How do y'all feel about that? Is that too harsh of me to say that? I just don't think that there are certain people in this world that should be able to have kids. They should be sterilized. Hashtag TTO, TTT. They should not have ovaries. They should not have testicles. I believe that's the case with this particular story. And once y'all hear a bit of these details, it's not even the full details because they'll tell more about that in court. And some stuff I just can't tell y'all in the stream because it's just a bit graphic. But the individuals that y'all see on my screen, the guy on the left-hand side, his actual name is Ray Ray. I want y'all to absorb that for a moment. Ray Ray Darn, D-A-R-N. If y'all could tell his parents did not give a crap about him to name him Ray Ray Darn. Like, darn, I made a mistake by giving birth to Ray Ray. I promise y'all, his name is Ray Ray Darn, 35 years old. That's his real name. The individual on the right-hand side that looks like a woman, I can't tell, but, you know, her name is Marilyn Northington, who is 28 years old. They both were arrested last Thursday after rushing their 5-week-old son to a hospital in Richmond where he was pronounced dead. The newborn baby was said to be covered in bruises as a result of the suspected abuse. Let's keep going because I know this is hard to hear. On Tuesday, the Contra Costa District Attorney filed charges of murder and assault on a child, murder, assault, and child abuse against the couple in connection with their son's death. Darn and Northington remained in jail on a $2.2 million bail each on Wednesday. According to the Richmond Police Department, the incident began to unfold around 6:30 p.m. on Thursday when they received a 911 call from the Marriott Courtyard Hotel. I repeat, the Marriott Courtyard Hotel. Why is it that these people be having these babies in all these hotels, abusing them and killing them? Ray Ray? Throwing up gang signs, Ray Ray? Huh? Little retarded ass Ray Ray? He throw up gang signs, but murdering your own kid. I just think that's some punk ass shit. All right? I'm going to just keep it real with y'all tonight. I might not be able to monetize this video because of my words, but I just got to speak from the heart. That's how I really feel. This damn idiot on my screen. They called from the hotel reporting that the couple had rushed out with their infant baby, telling the staff that their child was not breathing. Keep in mind, this is a practically newborn baby. Less than 30 minutes later, a second 911 call came from Kaiser Hospital, Richmond, saying that a non-breathing 5-week-old baby, 5 weeks, 5-week-old baby had been admitted into the emergency room and died a short time later. Sergeant Aaron Pomeroy with the Richmond Police Department wrote in a press release, the baby had obvious signs of abuse. That baby right there, and I might have a picture of the baby's face. I do as best as I can because if the babies are deceased, they are no longer at risk. So I try as best as I can to give full disclosure and let you guys hear as much of the story as possible and see some of the pictures. Let me see if I can find a picture of the baby. I might have one. Let me see. Let's see what we got. And if you guys are listening, do me a favor and click that thumbs up. Please share the stream and let more people know that we're live, if you would. Maybe I didn't get it. That might be about as best as I got right there. So let's continue. Detectives interviewed the boy's parents, those two idiots up there on the screen, the boy's parents and other witnesses at the hotel and the hospital, ultimately resulting in Darn and Northington's arrest. The couple had two other small children, and you can see them in the screen right there, who were taken into protective custody and turned over to Child Family Services. The Marriott Courtyard Hotel, where the couple had been staying with their family, has been used to house homeless people during the coronavirus pandemic. Two grown-ass people continuing to make children, and they don't have a place to live. I know I'm going to have somebody out there that's going to try their best to explain that to me in a rational way. And I'm going to tell you, you can't. And you should stop trying to explain that to me, that these people can be so damn irresponsible that they can't take care of themselves, but they're going to be even more irresponsible by having sex, laying down, and procreating. You don't have to have children. And I just don't think that broke people should have kids. And if they are, then maybe we should make them get a license or something. Maybe not prevent them from having children. I just don't think that'd be very humane. But that's how I feel. How many of y'all feel the same way? I don't feel like we should prevent them from having kids, but I think we should make it tougher, I guess. I don't know. Because I don't really, apparently we can't trust human beings to do the right thing. But let's move on. According to Darn's Facebook page, Lil Ray Ray, he has been employed as a line cook at a fast food restaurant, while his girlfriend worked as a security guard. The couple have a son and a young daughter who were born in the fall of 2019. But like I said, man, if they that damn broke, why keep making kids? I know what I'm saying is probably going to be labeled as insensitive, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's just the way I feel. Because I don't know what else to say about irresponsible people continuing to procreate. And then you take out your anger, your frustration, your brokenness. You mad because you broke, Mr. Throwing Up Gang Signs. You mad at life, but you brought a life into this world that cannot speak for itself nor defend itself against y'all's bad choices. But let me give you guys the fair usage. Let me let you hear the one and only news video, because nobody else talked about this. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. And just to let y'all know, they didn't have any news videos on this story at all. And this is not even really a news video, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Matter of fact, I just got upset about something. Let me go back to this picture real quick. Let me show y'all something. While dumbass Ray Ray sitting here throwing up gang signs, let me say something. Because I just think it's more of a human thing. I think whatever gang that he's throwing up, his gang needs to whoop his ass. If that gang stands for anything at all, they need to whoop Ray Ray's ass wherever they can and however they can for what he did to a 5-week-old baby. And I'm going to tell y'all, I don't think he stopped at the 5-week-old baby, because that was the smallest of them. I'm pretty sure he probably abused those other two children that they had. And the youngest baby, the 5-week-old baby, was the newest one. I'm just sitting there thinking about that, and it really pisses me off. And like I say, I hope that they get life in prison. I hope that they never have access to these kids ever again. And I feel real bad for the other kids because they have never seen stability. To be living out of a hotel, coronavirus or not, I'm pretty sure that this dude didn't have nothing positive going on in his life. Somebody that damn abusive just does not seem like they're wrapped too tight in the head. That goes for the mom. That goes for the dad. Like I said, give him life in prison, and that should be the end of it, all right? But that's my thoughts about this story. So to that 5-week-old baby, we don't even have a name. So all I can say is R.I.P. to the young baby. R.I.P. I'm DJ Just J, where the AFC will be advocate for children first. Unfortunately, we got so many more stories to tell. So you guys, hold on to your seats and continue to keep checking out our content. Thank you. We still have 4 more stories left. What's going on to all of you guys? And I'm sorry that that camera is doing that. I hate that it continues to flicker. I don't know how to fix that. Let me see. Configure. I don't know. Maybe I just don't need to wear a red shirt anymore. I don't know what the hell is going on. Huh. Let's try that. I don't know if that's going to help. It probably won't. But let's keep going, guys. I still got a few more stories to talk about. And again, if you guys are watching, please do me a favor. Our goal is 400 to 600 thumbs up. Very easy to do. We're at 296 right now, so we only need 104 more people to click that thumbs up. What that does is it helps share the stream, let more people know that we are live. Let me go ahead and get my next story up, which is, let's see. Let's talk about one of the toughest subjects that I have. One of the toughest subjects for me to talk about is starvation. The reason why it's hard for me to talk about starvation is because when I moved out a little too early when I lived with my mom and dad, and shout out to my mom and dad, and I put myself in a position where I really couldn't take care of myself properly. So there were days that I did not know where my next meal was coming from. But like I say, that's my fault, and I take, full responsibility for the decisions that I made. But I just don't think it's fair for parents to put their children in these situations, because we have absolute control over our sexuality, and we need to stop putting it off on the kids, okay? Let's talk about this story. I think this is out of Jacksonville, Florida. I can't tell. I don't know. Let me see. Is this Jacksonville, Florida? Let me see. Yeah, give me just a moment here. Let me make sure. Let me get both of these up here. It says Jacksonville. How many other Jacksonvilles are out there? Florida. Okay, so this is Florida. Okay. This is Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the toughest things for me personally to talk about is when children are starved and malnourished, because children can't do anything to speak for themselves. They can't defend themselves. They can't go out and work and earn a living, and they are at the absolute mercy of their parents when it comes to what they eat, when they eat, and how they eat, okay? So this story bothers me quite a bit. It pisses me off, and it really hurts my soul when defenseless children can't eat, okay? I want y'all to remember that baby's smile. Back that up just for a moment. I want y'all to remember that beautiful, innocent smile right there, because we're going to talk about this. A husband and wife are behind bars following a U.S. Navy investigation that said that they failed to provide proper care for their 7-year-old daughter for most of her young life leading up to her death. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service warrant for the couple's arrest said that a lack of medical care for 5 years that left her with a rash all over her body, plus a diet of only French fries. Matter of fact, I think they said it was Wendy's French fries or something. They were very specific about it. A diet of only French fries all led to the daughter O'Mara's demise. The idiots that you see on my screen right there, mom and dad, their names are Anna and Aremo, which is spelled Aremo, Akinloba, Akinloba. I don't care if that's how you pronounce it or not. I don't really want to put no respect on their name. Anna and Aremo Akinloba, 44 and 46 years old. These two idiots, 44 and 46 years old. Please put that in the proper perspective. Too damn old. They too damn stupid, too damn old. 44 and 46 years old. Both of them are charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child and remain incarcerated on $150,000 bail each. When it comes to child abuse, I'm sorry, I just will never feel sympathy for people. And I think $150,000 bail is a bit too light. I'd say give them $1 million. Why not? $500,000 at the least. But that's according to jail records. Their arraignment is scheduled for March the 3rd, right around the corner. The Navy's investigative arm would not comment on the case out of respect for the investigative process in response to requests for information. But the NCIS arrest warrant was released by the state attorney's office, while a summation of the Florida Department of Children and Family's investigation into the girl's death was also available. The Child Services Agency said O'Mara became unresponsive while at the home after being sick on April the 1st, adding that her diet was very limited. Her mother told investigators O'Mara ate very little on April the 1st and was otherwise acting normally. But by April the 11th, she seemed lethargic and had no real appetite, and then vomited as the family prepared for an outing at the zoo. I want y'all to understand this also, because we're getting ready to talk about this GoFundMe, and I know people are on my in my comment section asking me to let up on talking about people in their GoFundMes, and I won't, because I feel like I'm right about what I'm saying. GoFundMe should never supplement life insurance. And I want y'all to think about this. Every time that somebody dies, they open up a GoFundMe, right? That's what it seems like. So if that's the case, the GoFundMe pages that seem to actually get the money are usually the GoFundMes that somebody suffered a tragic death. It was a horrific death. It's always some type of very sophisticated story. But death is a natural part of life. Just as sure as everybody is born, they will die. So if that's the case, then that would actually mean that the majority of people who put up GoFundMes for deaths aren't going to get any money, because that's just a normal part of life, right? Not everybody is going to die some death that hits the news. Let's say it like that. Not everybody's death is going to be like this little girl due to the hands of abuse of a mother and a father. That's not the case. So what is everybody else supposed to do? Oh, that's right. Be responsible for your own life and your own family and get life insurance. I think a great place to go is GerberLife.com. Very cheap to get. And if you're too damn cheap to get life insurance, then I don't think you should be a parent. Huh? I think if you're so cheap that you can't afford a few dollars a month on life insurance, then you probably shouldn't be a parent. Okay? Well, I want you to put that into your cranium. Remember it. We'll come back to it. Now, The little girl was put to bed and watched by both parents as she refused to eat, even though I don't believe that, but drank water. The Children and Family Services reported. The parents went to bed at about 9 p.m. on April 11th, but they said they were awoken about midnight when they said they heard their daughter gagging and she began vomiting again. By 5 a.m. the next day, her breathing had become labored and she was no longer responding to the parents, the report said. The parents decided to drive the child to the hospital at the Naval Air Station in Jacksonville and did not. I repeat. Y'all can see the report right there. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. Whataburger French fries specifically. I told y'all they gave me a very specific answer. Whataburger French fries. All they fed this little girl was Whataburger French fries. But I guarantee you, somebody's going to make an excuse for that too. They did not call 911. And the reason they said they didn't call 911 is because they felt it would be quicker for them to take her. Well, yeah, it would be quicker for you to take her, but you should have called 911. Matter of fact, you shouldn't have been only feeding this kid. Like, what human being survive on freaking French fries? I'm trying my best not to curse because I'm about to tear it up in here right now. I'm really pissed off. What type of sane individual thinks that a child can survive on freaking French fries? French fries. Can somebody type that in the chat, please? These two idiots decided to feed a human being on a day-to-day basis French fries that have no nutritional value, especially from Whataburger. The NCIS warrant says that baby O'Mara, was not breathing and she was dehydrated when she was brought into the hospital and was listed unresponsive and pulseless. Multiple attempts were made to revive her, but she was declared dead at 7:34 a.m. according to the documents. Now, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office conducted a criminal investigation into her death, rightfully so, finding no evidence to suggest abuse or neglect in the home, Children and Families said. The medical examiner's autopsy determined that the cause of death was due to multiple organism bacterial sepsis, calling it natural. Multi-organism bacterial sepsis. But the First Coast Children Protection Team reviewed the medical files and concluded that there was evidence of neglect by both parents. Okay? Now, the NCIS warrant said that while O'Mara received the usual childhood vaccinations in her first 17 months of life, the parents noted that she had a change in behavior and believed that it was due to the vaccinations. The parents also self-diagnosed the little girl as having autism, but never sought a doctor's diagnosis or any health care visits. No health care visits. That's a live look. Well, not a live look, but that's a picture from them in court right there. Okay? They also began treating what they called eczema with over-the-counter lotion. She was post-mortem diagnosed as having pellagra, a disease caused by low levels of vitamin B3, the NCIS warrant said. How much more? I think I got a little bit more to read. Much of the warrant is blacked out for privacy, but it is said that when O'Mara was about 4 years old, her diet was changed. While a child at that age should have an average daily 1,200 calorie intake of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals, French fries was what she was primarily fed. And if you can't take that to the bank and charge them under the maximum penalty under law, then our system is messed up. That alone You feeding children French fries on a day-to-day basis should be a criminal action that should lead you life in prison. I can guarantee you that mom and dad didn't eat French fries every damn day, and that was all they ate. So if the mom and dad didn't eat that every day, why would you think that it's okay to feed that to your kid? But people say there's something wrong with me. But let me give you guys the fair usage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Yes, guys, French fries. Fried French fries from, matter of fact, Whataburger French fries to be specific. Let's get it.
An Oakleaf couple has been arrested and charged in the death of their 7-year-old daughter. This is the two making their first appearance this afternoon. According to the arrest warrant, Arimo and Anna Akinloba failed to provide proper care to protect their daughter, Omera, and she died in 2018. News4 Jax reporter Zach Lashway spent the day in the Longleaf community where the family lives, talking to neighbors. Zach.
April 12th, 2018 is the day the little girl who lived at this home died. Nearly 3 years later, her parents are arrested for manslaughter of a child.
A close-knit community. That's how residents describe their Longleaf neighborhood in Oakleaf.
I'm very devastated that something like that would happen in this area.
A 10-page arrest warrant contains allegations about 7-year-old Omera Akinloba's life. Investigators say her death was a direct result of negligence by her parents.
Oh, Lord. I mean, it's just very devastating. Like, I feel so sorry for the little girl.
According to NCIS investigators, Arimo and Anna Akinloba self-diagnosed Omera with autism when she was a toddler. The warrant says the child was never diagnosed by a doctor. In fact, documents state the Akinlobas ceased vaccinations for the child when she was 2 years old. She was homeschooled. Investigators say Omera suffered from malnutrition and was only given water and French fries.
As a mother, do you think you would be able to identify any type of neglect going on in your community?
Definitely. I definitely will.
Neighbors who have lived in this community for years say they never knew a child lived inside this home.
They came and talked to me about her daughter was teething or having issues with teething the night before, and something happened overnight, and in the morning she wasn't responsive, and so they took her to NAS Jax Hospital where their daughter had died.
This man, also a parent, does not want to be identified.
I had red flags from the initial conversation because I questioned how teething was related to a death. And how it would have progressed so quickly overnight if it was just teething.
When they came over to speak with you, the parents, did they seem upset or distraught?
Yeah, the wife was, I think I remember her crying. The husband was like behind her.
News4 Jax found a GoFundMe account set up by the family to pay for Omera's funeral in 2018. The account raised more than $10,000. Fast forward 3 years. This is home surveillance video from a resident in the neighborhood. It was taken Tuesday night. It shows authorities parking the Akinloba's vehicle in their driveway moments after the couple was taken into custody a block away from their home.
I'm shooken. I want to go get my kids.
I'm going to show you the initial report from DCF in 2018. Several agencies at the time found no evidence to suggest abuse or neglect inside the home. The medical examiner completed an autopsy, which determined the cause of death was due to multi-organism bacterial sepsis, and the manner of death was natural. But the warrant from Navy investigators says the parents failed to provide proper care to protect their daughter, which ultimately led to her death. Tonight, the couple is being held on $150,000 bond. Arraignment is scheduled for March 3rd. Kent?
All right, thank you.
Riots that happened back on January the 6th.
And new at 5 tonight, disturbing details in the case of a Jacksonville couple charged in the death of their 7-year-old daughter. According to the arrest warrant, that child was neglected and starved. Tonight on Your Side's Troy Kless is joining us live with this information that's now emerging in this terrible case, Troy.
Yeah, that's right, Anthony. An arrest warrant says the couple starved their daughter, feeding her exclusively Whataburger French fries, and they say that the family also failed to provide any medical care for the girl, who was ill for days before she died in a local hospital. The lack of care, unknown to many, started when she was just 2 years old. Anna and Arimo Akinloba at their first court appearance Wednesday. A Gofundme page says their daughter Omera died in April 2018. Documents released in the case allege years of neglect that investigators say led to Omera's death. A report from the Department of Children and Families says Omera became unresponsive at their Jacksonville home after several days of being sick. The Akinlobas took her to the hospital at NAS Jax, where she died, the report says. According to an arrest warrant, a doctor found signs of neglect after Omera died. An arrest warrant says her parents only fed the girl Whataburger French fries and that she was not getting proper nutrition. She also wasn't getting medical care. According to the report,
I just don't understand how you can get away with thinking that that's okay. They would have to know that the human body cannot survive on freaking French fries. Like, I feel you, Miss June, because she was saying as far as like that might be all that the kid wanted because of her being autistic. Like, I get that and I understand that. But as a parent, they have to know that the child's body can't survive on that. And that's part of where just common sense as a parent has to kick in, and you have to realize my kid can't live that way. Something's got to be done about it, medication or something. But y'all got to remember, they were not taking this child to the doctor and getting an actual doctor for treatment at all. Nothing. They were getting nothing. They weren't even trying.
of Children and Families says Omera became unresponsive at their Jacksonville home after several days of being sick. The Akinlobas took her to the hospital at NAS Jax, where she died, the report says. According to an arrest warrant, a doctor found signs of neglect after Omera died. An arrest warrant says her parents only fed the girl Whataburger French fries and that she was not getting proper nutrition. She also wasn't getting medical care. According to the report, she hadn't seen a doctor or a dentist in the 4 years before her death. The DC...
Nor a dentist. This baby did not see a dentist either. Come on, man.
To the report, she hadn't seen a doctor or a dentist in the 4 years before her death. The DCF report also says the child showed signs of sepsis for several days before she died. Neighbors who live near the Akinlobas remember consoling the couple after their daughter died.
I visited them and we talked to them and they were very hurt.
The neighbor said he did not know them well, as they were very private people, he says.
When something like this happened, it really, it really hurts us.
The father and mother remain in jail here at the Duval County Jail tonight. They have not formally entered a plea of any kind. Now, we know that the Naval Criminal Investigative Services is the investigating agency, but it is still unclear who served in the Navy and at what time. We're live in downtown Jacksonville. Troy Kless, First Coast News, on your side.
That is just...
Thank you so much, because Ginger caught it right when I was about to say it. Here it is. And I just felt my phone vibrate. I'm going to read it here in just a moment, okay? So y'all bear with me on that, and thank y'all so much for supporting. Look at what Ginger wrote. One of our favorite hashtags here is hashtag babies for benefits. This GoFundMe is not currently active, but when it was active, this was the GoFundMe. This GoFundMe was asking for $11,000 for the same girl that they wouldn't even take to a doctor or a dentist or even give her regular food. They didn't care, but they cared enough to go make a damn GoFundMe, and they got $10,411 off of a child that they starved to death, a child that they neglected to death, and a child that they didn't even bother calling 911. this baby right here. Apparently her life was only worth $10,000 for these selfish bastards, these selfish parents, to collect that money from. And y'all damn right, somebody actually called me in the comment section. I don't remember who it was. They called me. They asked me, was I the Gofundme police? The answer is yes, I am. If you call what I do the GoFundMe police, they call me the GoFundMe police. That's what I am, and I don't mind being Captain GoFundMe. You're damn right. Because the whole point behind what I'm saying is I wouldn't care if people were putting up GoFundMes to fund building a deck for their house, or fund taking their kids to Disneyland, or fund them getting a brand new Range Rover just because that's what they want to do, because crowdfunding is supposed to be for fun things. Crowdfunding is not supposed to supplement for death. That's what life insurance is for. Huh? That's what life insurance is for. The only reason, and I'm going to remind you guys, the only reason that people donate to people's GoFundMes is because they pluck on the heartstrings of people and hope that they feel sad enough to donate them money. And if you're relying on people feeling sad for your situation, then I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to get their heart broke because they're not doing the responsible thing and getting life insurance. I think that's a pretty simple freaking concept. But people still want to fight me on that, but they won't fight the fact that these kids are still dying. There are very big red flags while these children are dying. Simple things to fix. Simple things to notice. These situations are so avoidable. That's the status of the GoFundMe right there. It's closed. So I don't know if they were able to collect that money or not. I'm assuming that they probably didn't have enough evidence to shut it down. So yes, they got their crowdfunding money. I'm assuming. But I think that these people deserve life in prison. Like I say, the fact that this, matter of fact, if you don't take your kids to the dentist, you should not be a parent. How about that? Let's take it a step further. I'm going to be more than the GoFundMe police. I'm about to be the dentist police. I'm about to be the healthcare police. I'm about your children should be wearing shoes and nice clothes and taking a bath and eating proper food police. How about that? I don't mind representing the AFC in that fashion, because our goal, the people in the chat, is to advocate for children first. That's what these shirts mean. Think about the children first. But no longer will I sit behind and be silent and not call out what I see. And I'm not really worried about the ramifications. I'm more worried about putting out a message that I believe matters. And I'm thankful that more people have done the responsible thing and started taking care of their children, started paying more attention to their children, starting to really, really love their children the way that they should be. Because if you nurture them now, they can grow up and become something great. That is your legacy. Everything you put into your children is what your legacy is going to be. And that's why I want the best for my kids. I want the best for your kids. And I definitely want to make sure that children have an opportunity to eat something more than Whataburger French fries. Whataburger French fries is not a proper meal for children. Damn, I never thought I'd have to say that. Give them life in prison. And let me get this beautiful baby girl's face back up on this screen. And young princess, young Omera, young princess, RIP. This world has failed her. And we really hope that these stories can serve as a cautionary tale. And hopefully we can avoid these situations and stop the murder and abuse of children, okay? And the neglect. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to click that thumbs up, okay? We still have 3 more stories. And I want you guys to think about this. I have no shortage of stories. I could do this all day, every day, and still never run out of stories. That's how sad this is. There is no way, I should be doing these stories maybe once in a while. Not every day, and then story after story after story after story after story, every stream. Man. Let's talk about a place that I don't think I've ever done a story out of, nor did I think I'd ever have to do a story out of. This particular story comes out of a place called Honolulu. And shout out to my big sister, because my big sister actually used to live in Honolulu, if I'm not mistaken, for a while. But she's out in Florida now, but shout out to my big sister. Let me go ahead and get this next story up. Let's talk about this. Let's see here. This is... Okay, guys, we're doing pretty good. We're at 407 thumbs up. If we can try to get as many thumbs up as we have people watching, we have 545. Can we try to get 100 more people to click that thumbs up? That would help us out quite a bit. We're at 407 right now, which is awesome. But if we could get more people that are watching right now to just look down just for a moment and click that thumbs up, that would help us quite a bit. Okay? Where is my Honolulu story at? Hold on just a second. See if I can find it. Ah, wow, it's way over here. I got so many stories, I done lost track of it. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is probably the first time I've ever done a story out of Honolulu. Who would have thought? Honolulu, of all places. I don't know anything about it. I guess stupid is as stupid thugs, right? And I guess that bad things can happen no matter where you're at. But not only was there one suspect that was captured in this story, but there was a second suspect. And the second suspect had been arrested in connection with the disappearance of that beautiful little girl, that 18-month-old baby by the name of Kytana Ancog. Kytana is 18 months old. The Honolulu Police Department identified the suspect as a 48-year-old man and arrested him for suspicion of second-degree murder just before midnight Saturday. The little girl went missing along with her father, and let me see if I can get his face up on the screen for you guys. That fool right there. That is Travis Rodriguez, who was the baby's father. And Rodriguez is 40 years old, and they went missing about 2 weeks ago. An HPD investigation found foul play was involved. And Rodriguez, who was 40 years old, was arrested earlier Saturday after being located in Ko'olina, which is spelled Koolina. Hey, okay. Anyway, police arrested the 40-year-old Aya man Saturday on suspicion of second-degree murder in the case of his missing 18-month-old daughter, but would not say whether the girl, Kytana, had been found. Officers located Travis Rodriguez at about 12:30 p.m. in the Ko'olina area and later placed him under arrest with charges pending. Honolulu police and Crime Stoppers said on Friday the girl's mother dropped Kytana off on January the 31st to be with her dad at his Kaluani Place home in Aya. Sorry, I can't pronounce those cities. But neither the suspect nor Kytana had been seen since then. The family filed a missing persons report Wednesday. Here is the big caveat. Can somebody put a hashtag when you date thugs, you date death? Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Hashtag stupid is and stupid thugs. And I want y'all to remember that thug does not have a color attached to it. That's a thug, and I'm going to point out to y'all why I say that. If I can find my sticky note. Hold on. Live by the thug, die by the thug. Hashtag stupid is the stupid thugs. Hashtag date thugs, date death. Hashtag no jail time, give them hell time. Let me get this man's face back up on the screen. This guy, Rodriguez, who served time in federal prison for felony drug and weapons convictions, is known as Travis Heflinger and Travis Heflinger. Heffelfinger, whatever. Honolulu police executed a search warrant at his home Friday night. The FBI is assisting the Honolulu Police Department in the investigation. And keep in mind, he served federal time for drug and weapons. He is a thug. Keep in mind before y'all start feeling sorry for the mom. Mom dated a thug. The toddler's grandmother, Lisa Mora, told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser on Saturday that her daughter, Ashley Ancog, and Kytana, the little baby, came to live with her in March and stayed until a month ago. Mora says she had never heard of Rodriguez until then, has never met him, and is unclear about the relationship between her and the suspect. Mora posted video Saturday on her Facebook page of her little granddaughter opening presents on Christmas at Christmas time and another of her dancing. Earlier in the week, Mora made an impassioned plea on social media asking for help in locating the little girl. Mora has not been in recent contact with the Ancog, who has not spoken to her family about the girl's disappearance. From what I learned, she was scared of this guy and doesn't want to say anything. Mom was in a relationship with that guy. So mom was too scared to care about her daughter, but mom wasn't too scared to be sleeping with this man, having unprotected sex with this man. How does that make any sense? You're not too scared to be in a relationship, sleep with a man, be in a voluntary relationship with a thug, but you're too scared of him, but you weren't scared to have your daughter around him. How does that work? How does that make sense? Mora asked that everyone to look at every child they come upon. Even if there's a slight resemblance, take a picture. Send it to Crime Stoppers. I want them to treat this as their own child, granddaughter, niece, or daughter. Mora said Kytana, baby Kytana, has two half-brothers, one of who lives with her and the other lives with his grandmother. No male Amber Alert was activated in the case, which would have allowed broadcasters to use the emergency alert system to air a description of the child and suspected abductor. The male Amber Alerts are activated when police believe that the child has been abducted and is in danger, according to the state's Crime Prevention and Justice Assistance Division, and the case must meet certain criteria. So for people wondering why there was not an Amber Alert put out, because they have to meet a certain criteria. We've talked about that before. Now, according to Hawaii court records, Rodriguez and another man allegedly robbed somebody using a simulated firearm on November 2nd of 2018. A criminal complaint for first-degree robbery was filed, but the case was dismissed because a witness relocated to Las Vegas. Rodriguez also has state convictions for third-degree theft in 2004 and 2 counts of terroristic threatening in 2001. But that's who mom decided to be in a relationship with and leave her child around. Very interesting. On December 1st of 2004, he was charged in a secret federal indictment and was eventually given a lesser sentence as part of a plea agreement in which the government dropped 3 of the 5 charges related to weapons and methamphetamine distribution. Rodriguez pleaded guilty to distribution of 5 grams or more of the methamphetamine and carrying a firearm during an during and in relation to a drug trafficking offense. Although a judgment was entered on September 19th of 2006, his sentencing wasn't finalized until May of 2009, 3 years later, when his 5-year sentence for drug trafficking was reduced by 3 years, but a 10-year sentence remained in place for the firearm conviction. The same month, he legally changed his name to Hefelinger to Rodriguez, according to court records, because he's tried to run from the stupid crap that he was doing. Rodriguez has helped the government by testifying at the 2008 trial of Silver Jose Galindo, who was sentenced to more than 39 years in prison for drug trafficking and firearm offenses. So he's also a snitch. Now, the real definition of a snitch is somebody who is participating in the activities and telling on other people in order to either get them in trouble or get their sentence reduced. That's the real definition of a snitch. Not somebody living in your neighborhood doing messed up stuff and you just don't want it to happen and you call the police and get them up out your neighborhood. That's not a snitch. That's a snitch. You're participating in what you're telling on somebody else for doing. Do y'all want me to keep going with his criminal record? Because it's a little bit more to tell. Matter of fact, I'm going to just finish telling you. After serving prison time, Rodriguez's supervised release was revoked 3 times. In 2015, 16, and 17, causing his sentence to be extended. In February 3rd of 2017, he was sentenced to 15 months imprisonment. In 2019, Honolulu Crime Stoppers issued a bulletin on Rodriguez saying that he was wanted for violating his parole. Anyone with information on the suspected murder case is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 955-8300 or may send anonymous tips to the HonoluluCrimeStoppers.org or by way of the P3 Tips app. Now, y'all can't tell me that as long as that dude's criminal record is longer than a trip from one side of the earth all the way over to Honolulu, a dude with that long of a criminal history, you didn't do a simple background check on him? This mom clearly didn't care about her daughter. Let me give y'all the fair usage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And thank y'all for clicking that thumbs up. Again, don't forget that it helps share the stream. So bring more people in and y'all please click that thumbs up, okay? Let's get it.
Wahoo family is pleading for help in finding a toddler who's been missing for nearly 2 weeks. The child was last seen with her father, who is also missing. Manolo Morales has more.
Honolulu Crime Stoppers also sent out a bulletin asking the public for information. Police say the mother dropped the child off to the father on January 31st, and the two have not been seen since then. Kytana Ancog is 18 months old, weighs 40 pounds, and has brown eyes and brown hair. Her father is 40-year-old Travis Rodriguez. He's 5'5", 127 pounds, bald with blue eyes. The child's grandmother is at her wit's end, not knowing what happened to the little girl.
Scared, lost. I just want my granddaughter returned. We just want her back. We're the only family she's known.
Morris says her daughter, Kytana's mother, is distraught and is barely able to talk to anyone. They can only hope that the child has not been hurt and anyone with information will step up and help.
You know, I know a lot of people don't want to get involved, but this is an innocent child, and she deserves to be reunited with her family.
Rodriguez also goes by the name Travis Hefelinger. KHON2 featured him in Hawaii's Most Wanted 2 years ago for a bench warrant violation for an alleged robbery. He was arrested shortly after that. Police say Kytana was dropped off at his home in Aiea.
We know that he frequents the Aiea, Pearl City, Kalihi, and Waipahu areas. So if you know anything about his whereabouts, if you see him, if you know where he's at, please contact us.
I'm just hoping that someone has seen him. That's a big part of the puzzle, you know.
Kim says every bit of information can be helpful, so don't hesitate to contact Crime Stoppers.
If you saw them shopping somewhere or eating somewhere, it doesn't necessarily have to be today. You saw them previously, maybe a few days ago. Whatever the case may be, please give us that information.
Manola Morales, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
New developments in the case of a local toddler who's been missing for 2 weeks. Police sources have confirmed they arrested the father of 18-month-old Kytana Ancog for second-degree murder. This comes hours after he was taken into police custody. Jen Beniza has more.
Kytana Ancog had been missing for 2 weeks. The hope is that she would be found alive. But those hopes were dashed when her father was arrested for murder earlier today. Police sources say 40-year-old Travis Rodriguez, also known as Travis Heflinger, was found at a home on Pa'ala Loop in Kapolei just after 11:30 a.m. Saturday. A resident about a block away describes what she saw and heard.
There's like police officers all over here, and then had one FBI here. This whole thing all the way to that sign right there, all police officers, probably a couple more down. And then when they drove down, probably like 3 stayed, and then they all went on one time when they all left.
A few minutes later, Ka'aiali'i says she saw a helicopter hovering overhead.
The chopper was telling them to come out through the front door. We could hear it because it was right over there. So they were pretty close, and we could hear them telling them come out through the front door. Yeah, it was really scary.
Ka'aiali'i says both the HPD and the FBI were there. It's unclear why the FBI is involved in this case. Neighbors who declined to speak on camera confirmed Rodriguez slept over at this house. Sources say authorities are questioning Rodriguez. So far, it's unknown where Kytana is. According to authorities, she was last seen on January 31st when her mother, Ashley Ancog, dropped her off to Rodriguez at his home on Kaulainahe'e Street in Aiea. Police and the K-9 unit were called to that same address Friday evening, but officials have not said why they were there or what they may have found.
I got a question, real quick question for the people who are listening right now. How many of you guys believe that the mother actually knew exactly who this dad was or her boyfriend was? How many of y'all believe that the mom already knew this dude's long criminal history? Because I do. I think the mom knew and she just didn't give a crap. But that's what I think. Let me know what y'all think in the live chat. We got 464 thumbs up. If we can get 46 more people to click that thumbs up, we'll be at 500. So please click that thumbs up.
I spoke to Cynthia Ng, a relative of Rodriguez.
I think the mom knew. I really do.
Who lives there. She declined to do an interview, but told me that she was cooperating with the police.
I don't think she was scared, though. I do not think she was scared. I don't think the mom cared. Because if this dude is running drugs and guns, then guess what also was going on? They're making a lot of money, and mom is benefiting off of that money. She's benefiting off of that lifestyle. Thank you. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Joshua. Y'all are right. I think the mom knew and she didn't care because the mom was collecting benefits from it. A paid lifestyle. She could do whatever she want, whenever she want, because dude is running drugs and guns, which costs a lot of money. They're making a lot of money.
I also reached out to Kytana's mother. She responded via text saying, "I apologize, but I am not in the right state of mind to be doing an interview, but I just pray that my baby comes home to me." We will continue to follow this case and let you know the latest. Jen Boniza, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
And let's not put this past drugs and guns, why this little girl might be missing or might be dead. Yep. Drugs and guns, there could be a lot more going on to this than we know. Let's keep going.
18-month-old Kytana Ancog had been missing for 2 weeks. The hope was that she would be found alive, but those hopes were dashed when her father was arrested for murder early Saturday. 40-year-old Travis Rodriguez, also known as Travis Heflinger, was arrested for the murder of his daughter, Kytana Ancog. The pair had been missing for weeks. Rodriguez was apprehended at a home on Pa'alalup.
New developments in the case of a
18-month-old
here, and then
slept over at this house.
I think that might be the same video, so I think I'm going to go ahead and skip that one. I think we got enough information from those videos, but let me give you guys my closing thoughts. I think there is more than what meets the eye here, and I believe that not only mom knew, but they might have done something to this kid because of what this dude's background is, what his history is. Maybe he was forced to do something because of his lifestyle, but ultimately, I still think that the onus falls on the mom. I think a thug is going to do what a thug does. A thug lion is going to do what it does, and I think that in this case, he just needs to be put down. He needs life in prison. His time on being free on earth should be over with. No regard for life, no regard for safety, no regard for that little baby's life. And I think that everybody responsible, including mom, should have to suffer. And I'm going to tell you guys, that is a beautiful little girl, and she could have grown up and became anything. So for this little baby right here, for what she had to go through, and again, let me get her name up on here. I'm going to put some respect on this baby's name. Kytana. Kytana, baby Kytana. If she is indeed deceased, I think that's what they were saying. Then R.I.P. young princess. R.I.P. She really deserves so much better. And like I say, to this guy, he should be done. Matter of fact, if they're going to do anything with him, if they ever let him out of jail, they need to put him on an experimental shuttle and launch him into outer space. And let's see how well he could survive in the elements of having no atmosphere. Again, this is DJ Just Jay. We're the AFC. We're going to continue to advocate for this baby and so many others and hope that these stories can slow down and come to a crawl and just stop. Okay? Thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. I have maybe one more story for you guys. I think maybe two more. Let me get my next story up here. Let me say thank you real quick for those who are donating in Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. I'm going to read those right now. And let me say thank you to, and this is her real name, the name she wants to go by. I'm going to put some respect on her name. Pretty Poo Poo. That's her name. Donated by way of the Cash App, showing some love, and I want to say thank you very much. Let me also say thank you to Lynn over in the Venmo, and I think I got Marsha and Jimmy D already, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys want to contribute to our message, then you can support this channel by way of Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, so many different ways. All of those links are in the description box, okay? Let's get our next story up. Did I talk about? Let me talk about one that really bothered me. Mom's boyfriend. This story really bothered me. I read through it. I got a lot of harsh things to say. I'm going to try my best to keep my language kind of clean for this one as best as I can. But let's talk about this. Yep. Hold on, let me make sure I get the right story up here. Let's go with, I think it's this one. Or this one. Oh, wow. Okay, there was a GoFundMe in this case too. Damn. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. You say you're gonna curse for me? Hey. No, Pretty Poo Poo was somebody who donated. Not the name of the kid. I'm sorry if I confused you about that. Sorry about that. Sorry. Pretty Poo Poo was somebody who donated. That's just the name that they go by. I just don't like saying poo poo as a name. Like, I don't know. I just don't. But But I definitely appreciate the support. Let's talk about this next story. Let's get off of that. Let's talk about this. Did I bring up their GoFundMe? Let me see. Hold on. Yes, I did. Okay. So we're going to talk about the GoFundMe also. Ladies and gentlemen, I was very thankful that I was able to find enough pictures in this story. And we're going to talk about this smiling little boy. Just seemed like he had just a light, a brightness about him, and just had so much to live for. And I can't understand why anybody would hurt a child. And then you look at this situation, it's just like, what did this little boy do to anybody to deserve what he got? So we're going to talk about some things, and y'all look at that smile on that little boy right there. Look at that smile. Just the coolest little kid. Just seemed like a sweet kid, man. Really sweet kid. And this kid did nothing to deserve what he got. Let's talk about mom's boyfriend. A Washington County man was charged with homicide Thursday after being accused in the beating and death of a 3-year-old boy in Coropolis. Let me see if I can get his face up here. Even though I don't want to put his face on my screen. This meth face looking fool right here. His name is Tyler Scott Mason, 25 years old, of Burgettstown, and he is charged after police Tuesday night found his girlfriend's son by the name of Aiden Lombardi bruised and unresponsive at her apartment in the 900 block of Pennsylvania Avenue. The child was taken to UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh, where he was pronounced dead late Wednesday night, according to the Allegheny County Medical Examiner's Office. According to a criminal complaint, they say Mr. Mason, I'm going to say mom's boyfriend, was alone with the child after his girlfriend, Megan Myers, mom, right there, left her apartment to drive a friend and 2 children home. She told police she did not have enough car seats in her vehicle to accommodate Aiden, so he stayed behind. I'm going to read that again because maybe some people might not see or hear what I got from this. I'm going to read this again. According to the complaint, hashtag not my words, Mr. Mason was alone with the child after his girlfriend, Megan Myers, the mom, left her apartment to drive her friend and 2 children home. Mom told the police that she did not have enough car seats in her vehicle to accommodate her son, so her son stayed behind with the boyfriend. Does anybody see something wrong with that? Let me point something out. First of all, mom has a terrible sense of picking a good man. You can look at this dude and tell that he ain't shit. Okay? Sometimes you can judge a book by its cover. I'm right in this case. This dude is not a good person. He is a horrible individual. Not only does mom make bad choices in men, but mom also makes bad choices in friends. And let me explain why. If your friend has children and don't have her own car and can't drive themselves home to the point to where you need to leave your child with this violent criminal, then I think that also speaks on behalf of how crappy her friend is. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? How did the friend get there? Thank you. Did you go pick the friend up and bring her over? How did the friend get there? Why was the friend there? Why was it so important for you to have your friend there that you had to abandon ship on your son? Your friend got kids and don't have her own car? How about the biological father of the friend's kids could have came and picked her funky ass up? How about that for a novel concept? Let alone letting that guy Watch your son. What about his face? He looks like a meth head. Let's go back for a moment. What about this dude's face says, that's a good boyfriend? That's a suitable babysitter for my kid. You know, it's funny how I talk about this a lot, how the mothers of these children will fight his father so that his father has to fight to even see his son, fight for custody of his son. But mom's new boyfriend get to be around this little boy all day long with unmitigated access to him. Unfettered access. I don't even know if I used the correct word. I might not have. Unmolested access. He gets unlimited access to this kid, but dad has to fight to see his kid. How does that even make any sense? And I want to give a shout out to my sisters, our women that are listening. I'm glad that y'all listen with an open heart, but let me get on to y'all just for a moment. Y'all have an incredible gift and an awesome power, an innate gift to be able to bring life into this world. And the way that our society is set up, y'all make all the decisions that have to do with these kids. So let me hold my sisters, my real women, accountable just for a moment. Why would you fight the biological father, the one to help you create that kid? Fight them so hard, but you do nothing when it comes to protecting your kid when you decide to put him around a man who he can't speak for himself nor defend himself against. You didn't bother to put your kid in an advantageous situation. Not even a good boyfriend. Why? Because mom just wanted some pleasure. Mom only cared about her personal pleasures. You can get mad about it if you want, or you can woman up and own up to your responsibility of putting your son in a really, really bad position. Okay? Let me go ahead and continue to talk about this story. About 15 minutes later, mom's boyfriend called the mother, Miss Myers, and told her Aiden was unconscious and had shallow breathing. Minutes later, he called her again to say that the child stopped breathing again, according to the criminal complaint. She told the boyfriend to call 911, but because the boyfriend was so distraught, she called 911 herself. When first responders arrived, paramedics noticed bruising and swelling on Aiden's forehead, eyes, jaw, and ear. After taking the child to Heritage Valley Sewickley Hospital, sorry, I messed that up, a doctor in the emergency department said that a CT scan revealed a fractured skull and other head trauma. A fractured skull and other head trauma. The doctor told the police that someone intentionally inflicted these injuries. And the complaint, mom's boyfriend, that fool, told police that the little boy Aiden became fussy. That's what children do. He became fussy while they were alone, so he gave the child water and chocolate milk, which sounds like bullcrap. But anyway, he claimed then moved across the room to message his sister when he noticed blood and a chewed fry near Aiden's mouth, the complaint says, and began performing CPR until paramedics arrived. But the neighbors told police that they heard the child screaming in pain. The neighbors heard screaming. And that's a picture right there, and I know that's hard to see. But I'm thankful that they publicly put these pictures up so y'all can see partially what this little boy went through. I'm not going to even show it again. If you want to see it again, just rewind this video. The neighbors heard the child screaming in pain during the time that the boyfriend was alone with the boy. I don't want to call him Mr. Mason. Why are they calling him Mr. Mason? I don't want to call this fool that. Mom's boyfriend, Tyler Mason, was initially arraigned Wednesday morning on charges of aggravated assault and endangering the welfare of children, and he was charged Thursday afternoon with homicide, rightfully so, after medical examiner's office ruled Aiden's death was a result of blunt force trauma to the head. How often have we heard that? It's going on 3 years now. We know what blunt force trauma is. That means that that little boy got beat up by a grown-ass man. He is currently being held at the Allegheny County Jail pending a preliminary hearing set for March the 16th of this year, according to court documents. I'm going to tell y'all, this is disgusting to me. Yes, they had the nerve, and like Stephen A. Smith says, the unmitigated gall to put up a GoFundMe of $25,000. $25,000 to so-called put this little boy to rest. Mom dated the thug. The thug killed the little boy. Beat him up. Because mom wanted to help her friend. So she abandoned ship on her son. And then they turn around and ask for $25,000 to so-called bury this little boy. So apparently it took $25,000 to give this little baby boy, who shouldn't be dead in the first damn place, a proper burial. $25,000, man. Let me give y'all the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, and again, don't forget, guys, if y'all are watching, please click that thumbs up, share this stream, let more people know that these stories exist, okay? Let's not act like they don't exist. We're just going to sweep them under the rug. Let's let more people know that this type of stuff is really happening, okay? Let's get it.
All right, we have some new information right now on a really tough story we've been following over the last few hours. If you watched WPXI Tonight last night, you heard about little Aiden. The 3-year-old was left brain dead after being found unresponsive at his mother's home. Well, his grandmother reached out to us just before midnight to let us know that Aiden has been taken off of life support and passed away. His family says that his organs are being donated in hopes of saving lives.
We don't know how we're going to do this. We don't know how we're going to get through this. He had these big, bright brown eyes and this long eyelashes and the most captivating smile.
Hi. Hi. I know this is a lot to wake up to. Earlier this week, paramedics were called to the family's home in Coraopolis. They found Aiden Lombardi with no pulse and told police he had several bruises. Police have now charged his mother's boyfriend. His picture is on your screen. He's charged with aggravated assault and endangering the welfare of children. This morning, we are working to learn if the charges against him will be upgraded. And we are also working to get you details about a GoFundMe page to help pay for Aiden's funeral. When we have that information, we will post it for you at WPXI.com.
Today, charges were upgraded against a man accused of beating his girlfriend's 3-year-old son. The boy suffered a fractured skull and bruises on Tuesday and died late last night. Now it's a homicide case. Bryant Reed spoke with the little boy's grieving family. Bryant.
And can neighbors say that they heard a child screaming several times before everything went silent in the apartment building right behind me. Aiden Lombardi's family said that he had barely began to live and that they hope nobody has to ever go through what they're going through right now. Tyler Mason was supposed to be babysitting his girlfriend's 3-year-old son when the unthinkable happened Wednesday night. Police say Mason beat Aiden Lombardi, causing bruises on his face and head and caused a fractured skull.
There's really nothing in the world that you can actually say or do to stop
any kind of evil like that young man had in his body.
Aiden's grandfather and 2 aunts were in Florida when they got the news. They rushed to the hospital to hear a gut-wrenching reality.
We were just waiting and waiting, and my sister's mom came down and she was crying and she said he's gone and they can't save him. And I screamed.
Now, they only have memories.
He was a perfect child. And I know perfect doesn't exist, but he was as close as it comes. He was an angel.
He was just learning how to love. He was just learning how to respect. He was just learning how to give everybody the attention that if you were in a store, he would come up to you and say, hey, little guy. And that's the way he was.
And I'm going to tell y'all, the family definitely seems devastated, definitely more devastated than the mom. But let me say this, because like I can read y'all comments and we try our best to let everybody speak their mind. And sometimes we don't get it right because, sometimes what people say we might misinterpret sometimes. But let me say this, because I understand what you're saying, Lisa. And Lisa is saying the news shouldn't advertise the GoFundMe. And for some reason, I really feel like what you're saying is spot on. Because I've always thought about that. I'm like, damn, like they're almost encouraging people to make these GoFundMes every time something happens. And I don't think that should be the case. So I agree with you, totally agree. So I'm glad that you said that, but I did notice that I just think it's a bit odd that every time the news come on and they put up a GoFundMe and they put up a GoFundMe and they put up a GoFundMe, and guess they're asking for a $75,000 GoFundMe, $25,000 GoFundMe, GoFundMe. That's not what GoFundMe is for. It was never meant to supplement for death. That's what people use it for now. Life insurance supplements for death. Life insurance. Like you have car insurance to supplement for accidents. Life insurance just ensures we all live, we will die. Get some Gerber Life. Go to GerberLife.com. Get life insurance. Everybody should have life insurance. Babies, toddlers, teenagers, adults. Everybody should have life insurance, period.
Tonight, Tyler Mason sits in jail with charges of homicide, 2 accounts of aggravated assault, and others.
So that way, if you want to get you a $100,000 policy, a $25,000 policy, then you pay for it by way of your insurance. But society should not be responsible for your family.
Aggravated assault and others.
I see, Woody.
The family says they have no idea what would make somebody want to hurt a child and are counting on their faith to get them through this trying time.
Evil never rests. It never does. We have to prevail as Christians, as God-loving people, and we just have to keep pressing on, because right now there's nothing but hate in our bodies. There's nothing but negative thoughts about Tyler Mason in our bodies.
And as we speak, Aiden's family is working on his funeral arrangements. And even though they're going through this tough time, his mom tells me all she wants to do is be able to share his smile with the world. In Coriopolis tonight, I'm Bryant Reed, KDKA News.
A man accused.
And let me say this, because I could be very wrong about this. $25K is questionable. It's a lot of money. And let me say this. If people feel like that whatever happened, the tragedy that happened, is worth $25,000, or if they feel like the medical expenses are worth that, if they feel like whatever it is worth all of this money that they're asking for by way of GoFundMe, then you know what you could do? What you actually can do is you could sue the person who murdered your child. You could sue them. And let me point something out to you why I say that. I want y'all to think about this for a moment. Why I have a few people in here. Let's just say if somebody said to me, well, what if you sued them and you don't get no money out of it? Well, then if that person ain't worth nothing, then why would you be sleeping with them in the first place? If they're not worth any money and you sue them and you wouldn't get nothing out of it, then maybe you shouldn't be sleeping with them, procreating with them, dating them. Wow. How about that for a novel solution? Just thought I'd throw that out there because it was in my heart to say it.
Of beating a little boy to death is now charged with homicide. Tyler Mason is accused of killing 3-year-old Aiden Lombardi. Police say Mason was watching the boy at a home in Coriopolis when he beat the child, causing a skull fracture. Lombardi was taken to Children's Hospital last night, where he later died.
My closing thoughts about this is I'm going to tell y'all, I feel bad for the family, mainly like the grandmother and grandfather, because they seem to really love this little boy and understood how special he is, okay? Because you look at his face and it's just like, what about that little boy? Like everything he did was just like a normal kid. He was fussy. So what? If you don't know how to deal with a fussy kid, you probably shouldn't be around that kid at all. Mom clearly, matter of fact, let me ask y'all this. Mom clearly didn't know that her boyfriend couldn't deal with a fussy kid. So why didn't mom do her due diligence and realize that maybe you need to know if your boyfriend can be a good father, be a good parent, be a good babysitter? You need to know what he is capable of before you leave your kid with him to go take your friend to go do a favor. I'd say screw your friend. I think the life of your son is more important than your friends. I think the life of your son was more important than your personal pleasure that that fool was giving you. You thought the love and whatever it was that you got from him, the physical attention you got from him, was worth your son's life. And I think that's really sad. I think that sucks. Because I think Aiden Lombardi, and even with a last name like Lombardi, when you hear Lombardi, I'm sorry, maybe y'all disagree, but when I hear the name Lombardi, I think greatness. I think about football. I think about a lot of good things. And I think that this little boy had a bright future ahead of him, and I think that his future was robbed from him. I think that mom's boyfriend robbed him. I think mom shortcut his life, and I think that mom should have definitely taken more responsibility, as much as they're not going to like me saying this, because mom is suffering and you don't know what she's going through, and she didn't know that he was capable of doing this. Get off the bull crap, okay? We got to stop being so damn sensitive. Get out your feels and understand that these children need us to make solid decisions, sane decisions, and good sound judgment. Putting your kid around somebody who you have no idea what they're going to do, but you'll go out of your way to keep this boy away from his dad, I think is asinine. That little boy could have grown up to become anything. And little baby Aiden Lombardi, I want to say, young prince, R.I.P. You deserved an opportunity to grow up and become something great, and your name be just as great as the names that came before it. Okay? This is your boy DJ Just Jay, and if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do not forget to make that red subscribe, make it white subscribe, turn on the notifications. If you want to know when we go live, click the thumbs up. We're going to continue to keep shedding light on these stories, even though the news might not. I'm going to take it as my responsibility as us, as the AFC, because this is not a me thing. It's a we thing, and we got to get better together in our society. Do you guys mind if I do one more story? And I promise you I will let you guys go after this. I know y'all been here for a while. I want to talk about one more story. And I think this one will be short, but I did want to share what happened, if that's okay. Can I do that? Can you guys hear me okay? I don't know if y'all can hear me well enough or not. I feel like I'm just talking, And y'all might not be able to hear me. Let me say thank you, Lynn Eversley. Lynn donated by way of the PayPal, and I want to say thank you very much if you're listening. But I did want to share what happened, if that's okay. Can I do that? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Mic is still really loud. So that's a good thing. Y'all can hear me good on the mic, so I'm glad y'all can hear me. I don't need to turn it up. Matter of fact, Miss June Bennett, to let you know, I don't know if you were here earlier, but what I did was I actually changed the microphone. I went and got a different microphone, and it seems like this one's a lot louder because I got this thing turned way down, and I can hear it all through this studio room. So hopefully this mic sounds a lot better. Let's do one more story, and I will let you guys go for the evening. If y'all are listening, if you haven't subscribed, we need 500 plus people to click that thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, okay? So that's not a requirement, but I'm asking if you would. That would be awesome. I would love to have more of you guys here on a regular basis, okay? So this is our Missouri couple. Okay, so there is no news videos on here, so this will be really short. Let's talk about this. Jefferson City. Man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just an absolutely disgusting story, and I thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind and an open heart to really just understand why I'm so critical about all of these stories. For me, it's not about race. It's all about these children. That's why I have this shirt which says AFC, Advocates for Children. I have a little girl and a little boy here. They don't have any colors attached to them, and that's because it represents all children. Okay? And I have a deep love for children, and I will not accept people abusing, misusing, and murdering children, and I think it needs to stop. And we need to have harsher penalties in the law against people like this who hurt children. This story comes out of Jefferson City, and a Cole County grand jury has indicted a Jefferson City couple for the murder of their 2-month-old, I repeat, 2 months old, newborn, 2-month-old child. After an autopsy found the infant died from a significant amount of methamphetamine. Meth. Let's go back and look at these meth heads. Meth. Say it with me. Meth. Mama meth and Papa meth. Stupid idiots. They found a significant amount of meth in this baby's system. But I'm going to show you the picture here in a moment, which was just really disgusting. It was the only picture I was able to find of the little baby, okay? Now, on Wednesday, a Cole County grand jury indicted, let me see if I can get their faces back up here real quick, 29-year-old Jason Williams and 19-year-old Kayla Brewer. So she's just a young, dumb idiot. She don't look 19 years old. That girl looked like she's at least 48. Does she not? Boy, y'all look at this picture. Tell me this girl is not 19. She's at least a good 47. Boy, life done kicked her in the butt and dragged her down the street. Sheesh. 19, that is a hard 19 years. Lord have mercy. The grand jury indicted both of them for murder and additional felony charges regarding the death of their 2-month-old last September, according to Cole County Sheriff's Department. When their child was initially found dead in the 800 block of Pitchfork Alley on September 30th of 2020, the Cole County Sheriff's Office said they didn't suspect foul play at first. However, in October, the Sheriff's Office said that the couple was indicted by a grand jury for charges stemming from the investigation into the death of the couple's 2-month-old child. The couple was initially arrested on October 8th of 2020 in connection with their child's death after officers seized a stolen AR-15 weapon, drugs, and over $30,000 from their home. 30 racks. On the same day, the couple was indicted by a grand jury for the charges of delivery of a controlled substance, of course that's drug related, endangering the welfare of a child, possession of a controlled substance, and recovering stolen property. The sheriff's department said an ongoing investigation led to new findings in the infant's death. After an autopsy was performed, the cause of death was found to have been caused by a significant amount of methamphetamine being found in the infant's system, and the death was ruled as a homicide. On Wednesday, a Cole County grand jury indicted the couple for murder and additional felony charges. As a result of the ongoing investigation and indictment, Williams, mom's boyfriend, has been charged with 11 felonies, and Brewer has been charged with 7 felonies. Williams is charged with the following 11 felonies: felony second-degree murder, felony abuse or neglect of a child, 2 counts of felony possession of a controlled substance, felony endangering the welfare of a child causing death, felony delivery of a controlled substance, felony receiving stolen property, and 4 counts of endangering the welfare of a child creating a substantial risk. The mother, Kayla Brewer, is charged with these 7 felonies: felony second-degree murder, felony abuse or neglect of a child, 2 counts of felony possession of a controlled substance, felony endangering the welfare of a child causing death, felony delivery of a controlled substance, and felony receiving stolen property. The sheriff's department said both Williams and Brewer are currently incarcerated and are being held with no bond. Good for them. That girl is not 19 years old. Golly, she looks old in the face. The Cole County Sheriff's Department was assisted in this investigation by the Cole County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and the Missouri State Technical Assistance Team. My closing thoughts about this. This is the only picture I could find of this little baby. And I want y'all to look at this picture, and if pictures are louder than anything, then I think that this speaks 1,000 words. And I want y'all to look at this picture. I'm gonna crop this and make it as big as I can. This is who I believe the baby was. And I want y'all to look at this. And I want y'all to remember that the police also said they seized about $30,000 in cash. That's a picture of that baby. Everything is wrong with this. And they had nerve to band up all this money trying to look cute, trying to stun on people, and murder this little baby. And I'm going to tell y'all, yes, that's sickening. This is absolutely disgusting. That's the only picture that I know of that baby because the baby is so young. But for that, I think these two need life in prison. They should never get an opportunity to see the light of day ever again for any reason. R.I.P. to that little baby. Get these fools out of our society. This is your boy DJ Just J, where the AFC will be advocate for children first. From my heart to yours, I love you guys and thank you for listening with an open mind and an open heart. And we'll see you guys on the next stream. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do so. Click the thumbs up, share these streams. Let more people know that we're not going to stand against abuse and murder of our children. Not in our society, and it's going to stop, okay? Guys, have a great night. Have a great day. And we'll see y'all on the next stream. Peace. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day. Show some love to our sponsors. Thank you, everybody in the chat. If you guys want to, hit those links in the description box. Show support for our show. Have a great night. We'll see you guys on the next stream, okay? Peace.
Hey there, listeners. Are you looking for authentic design from brands like Louis Vuitton, Prada, Coach, Gucci, Michael Kors, and so much more at a price that you can actually afford? Well, let me introduce you to Nora's Authentic Designer handbags, shoes, and accessories, where we have designs to meet all of your needs. All items are 100% authentic, brand new, and being sold at prices you don't want to miss out on. Find us on tradesy.com, at Nora's 915, or email us at norasauthenticdesign@gmail.com. Hey there, listeners! Are you looking for authentic design from brands like Louis Vuitton, Prada, Coach, Gucci, Michael Kors, and so much more at a price that you can actually afford? Well, let me introduce you to Nora's Authentic Designer handbag, shoes, and accessories, where we have designs to meet all of your needs. All items are 100% authentic, brand new, and being sold at prices you don't want to miss out on. Find us today on tradesy.com, at Nora's 915, or email us at norasauthenticdesign@gmail.com.
Hello listeners, come mask up with Keyline Designs, where you reap what we sow. We offer essential handcrafted face masks made with 100% cotton, equipped with a built-in filter and a slot for refillable filters. Our masks have many uses, like riding motorcycles, ATVs, while out in public places, outside exercising, lawn and gardening, and helps prevent the spread of germs. We offer bling, sports logos, monograms, many assorted fabrics and colors. We make child-sized masks starting at the age of 2. Come join us today for the launch of our new website at keylinedesigns.com. Please be sure to like and follow our page on Facebook. Our links can be found in the description box of this video. Thank you.